them come. This is their fate.
Let me get my Birdman hands in there. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, Josh. Today we got quite a bit to cover because unfortunately we couldn't get to you guys last week, but we're going to make up for that with a whole lot of topics and a whole lot of pinpoint and focusing on some of these topics here because there's a lot to talk about, a lot of ground to cover, and I'm glad you came back to listen. So, before we get started, per usual, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, how's life going. Talk to the people.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. It's been like 2 weeks since we last talked. Yeah, as like all three of us. I mean, I wanted to like catch up with y'all, see if we can play Call of Duty or something, but just I don't know, the time it didn't really work out. Y'all being busy and me here with the family. We had a longer weekend because I had Monday off this week, so we spent a lot of time hanging out. Went out to like different parks and cafes as well, and I think we also Halloween was like a week and a half ago, so we took the baby out to like a little kid's Halloween party. Dressed her up. She hated her costume, didn't want to wear it, and so she was crying. But we brought a backup costume because we already knew she was going to do that. We was just trying to get some pictures for the family. But yeah, she dressed up, changed to the other costume. The first one was like a Cookie Monster dress because she likes Sesame Street. And then the other one was a gift. It was like a Wonder Woman dress. But yeah, it was fun. Kids had fun. Me and the wife didn't dress up or anything. We just took her out and then came back home. As far as video games or just other media, I haven't been up to much. I've been trying to play Metaphor. I just wrapped up the content for the demo, like the prologue demo, which was about like the first 10 hours. So I'm finally getting like into the game, getting to the meat of it. And I'm probably just gonna buy it and keep playing it on my free time. Really, I just get to play it like for like an hour or two before going to sleep.
Gotcha.
When I have time. Other than that, yeah, just trying out a bunch of old games I used to play as a kid, see how they still, how they run, if they still hit for what I remember. But yeah, not much else. I've been trying to, I guess, catch up on a few TV shows like on Disney Plus because I'm paying for it, so I might as well watch the stuff that's there.
We're just gonna try Agatha all along. I think that's the only thing we're gonna try right now is that Agatha show. So
yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes of it. I know it just wrapped up. I don't know what people's impressions of it overall was, but the first 2 episodes I enjoyed. I would just say expect what you got from WandaVision, and it's more of that because it's like literally like we made WandaVision, now let's make Agatha, like from one to literally to the next.
Gotcha.
Like the same team, same crew, and everything. So I enjoyed it, and hopefully it stays like the same quality.
Cool.
Yeah, but as far as my week, that's about it. Time to hear about y'all Call of Duty impressions.
Oh, not right now. Jalen, what you been up to? What you been doing?
Shoot. Overall, I ain't really been doing too much. I feel like I'm almost at 100%, but I'm over here like I don't know, man. I feel like I'm gonna get a little bit of a cough again. Maybe like get me. But other than that, no, I ain't really been doing too much. Been playing a fair amount of Call of Duty, probably the most Call of Duty I played in years. Probably something like Warzone, because that Omni movement, I'm like, sign me up, bro. I'm over here just jugging on cats. I'm like, I'm playing Warzone in a little sandbox area, or not a little small area. But so I mean, I've been playing a little bit of Call of Duty. I kind of laid off on a multiverses a little bit because people been on that game just you know
Weren't you
they be
like
doing some
you
other
told me
stuff.
you were like pretty high up there on the rankings, right? And you
I
said, but
think in the rankings, I was probably like top one or I was top 200 like in the fan zone 2v2. So I mean, that's like a specific category like fan zone 2v2.
gotcha.
But I mean, I guess I was top 200 in that regard. I mean, I guess that's straight. Little victories, I guess. But nah, man, they started. I don't know, man. They be putting us against some people, and they be causing atrocity, bro. I'm like, I gotta turn this game off, bro. So he won't be getting mad though. He be raging at the game where he be like, man, this game just wore me out, bro. We hopping off after one match. But so I mean, that's pretty much it. I've been trying to play Metaphor a little bit. Um, I mean, still doing like the YouTube stuff, trying to stay consistent with that. And trying to do like videos and stuff like that, man. But it's a lot to try to be like, all right, let me post on here, let me post on here, let me post on here. And it's just, I'm just doing what I can with it for real and just making sure I'm enjoying doing it. So I'll be, my homegirl Taylor is up here touring. And she's getting mad. She's like, man, why you keep watching that video over and over? I'm looking like, man, this video funny, bro. Because who made this audio? Like, I'm like, bro, this video funny, man. She's like, you just literally watch that video like 15 times and you bust out laughing every single time. I'm like, man, it's funny, bro. Like, what you want me to do? Not laugh? Like
He said, "I'm a man of small needs. What you want from me?
I'm trying to tell you, man,
You
I'm
want me to
happy,
put
bro.
on a
Like,
stand-up comedy? I like this video. 15 more times for you. Put your head
like,
top."
repeat, no. Hey, he be like, nobody here to start of it correctly. Now I got to start over. I got to hear it again. Like, I missed that first part. He be like, even though you was hungry, I don't even know why. You was like, fuck you. Even though you was hungry. Bro. But nah, I'm keeping this long-winded. But that's pretty much it. And then the biggest thing is I had did the 10K, the one I was trying to get Deontay to do. I was trying to get everybody. Man, people was bailing on me. I'm like, stop, stop. But beat my personal record on there, so I was able to finish in. I did under 48 minutes. So last time my time was 49 minutes and 58 seconds, or no, 49 minutes 28 seconds. And this time I was able to finish the 10K. It was like a full game for me, Michael Jordan full game because I didn't get to practice that much because I was sickly. Um, but I ended up finishing in 47 minutes and 51 seconds. So I mean, I cut off like almost like a minute and a half, which is like significant. I was coming through like full game. What that hag say on Dark Souls 2? Lowly times these are. I'm like, I'm back, bro. I'm back from the lowly times, bro. So, but other than that, that's pretty much it, though. But yeah,
Um, okay. Well, I mean, that's good. You got some gamings in, got some accomplishments done. That's always good to hear. Good to hear. I did get quite a bit done, and I got had my family come up, and we hung out after the Halloween was over with. So I took the kids trick or treating. They really enjoyed it. They were Bluey and bingo, so they really had a grand time. First trick or treating. Amir knew immediately that we took some of his candy when we got home. So because we weren't gonna let him eat it all, we weren't going to let him eat most of it. Really, only gave him like 3 pieces. So he was like, "Where did it all go?" And he was kind of questioning our integrity. I was like, "Man, I'm telling you, man, it's all there." He was like, "Nah, this ain't it. This ain't everything." So it
The
was
boy
pretty
don't play
funny.
no play no games.
He said, "Nah, this ain't everything I had, man. I counted all my
Mm-mm.
pieces. I want all my
He's
pieces,
like,
man."
empty
So,
those pockets.
but yeah, they had a great time doing that trick or treating stuff. So we just walked around a little bit, a couple of houses, and they had a blast. But then my mom came up here. I finalized my nice little office studio space, so was able to kind of show them all of that and kind of get this all completed and set up the way I want it. Got all my cable management stuff done. Now I'm off to the races on trying to make some content and really shoot so you guys can see here shortly. I'm probably going to have it out in the next week or so of the room and everything. So, um, they came up. We were hanging out. We went out to eat and stuff like that. But we had a pretty interesting and development over the weekend. They actually did get into a car accident. Unfortunately, no one was hurt technically. I did end up spending uh, like 6 hours in the ER. It was like five. It was like 4 hours in the ER room with my sister because we were just trying to get her checked out and everything, make sure she was straight because she said she had a little back pain. All the X-rays came back good. But in order for them to get back home quickly, they had the car delivered here. And they basically, when they spent out, one of the tires bust, so I had to get into my mechanical bag, take the tire off, run it up to Firestone, and I had to do that junk in like 20 minutes because they was finna close. So I'm cranking it, trying to get them stupid things off, put the donut on, take it and head up there. So I was able to get that done for them, and they were able to get back on the road yesterday and get back home. So overall, we still had a fun time. Unfortunately, stuff happens. We get it. But we still had a good time. I just had a really eventful, weird week end as I was kind of getting a lot of stuff accomplished and having family over and all that good jazz. As all that was going on, I was able to play a few games. I played Call of Duty with Jalen. I was playing a lot of Hades because I was sitting at that hospital for a long time. So I took my Steam Deck and played a ton of Hades. Pretty much made it go by super fast as I waited. And I was playing Alan Wake 2's DLC and a little bit of Horizon Remastered. And Dragon Age. So I did play a few different games. Obviously, some of those games I barely touched, like Horizon. I just wanted to check out and see how graphically better it looked. And it does look graphically better. I don't know if I'm going to play through an entire game again, but overall, I like the changes that they created, at least to the overall cutscenes and the world, because it does look a lot more full. It looks a lot more. It always looks a good looking game. It just looks better. It's not like it's so significantly different that you're like, wow. But if this is the only one you ever played, this is going to be the one that's definitively the best one to play. So cool. But yeah, I talked a lot about my intro there. But we're going to get into our first topic. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with Black Ops, Jalen? You got your Omni movement impressions ready to go?
Man, I ain't a vet with it and stuff like that, but come on with it.
Come on with it then. All right, Chieftain. Let me know. Hit me with a score. Give me a just grading the multiplayer. That's the only thing you played. What you'll get at out of scale of 1 to 10. What you would give? Oh, you play zombies? How much of zombies did you play?
I played a couple hours of one of the maps and did the Easter egg.
Oh, okay. Okay, so then give me an overall impression of the multiplayer components of Black Ops 6.
So the multiplayer, as somebody who don't really like I ain't even gonna say I don't like Call of Duty. I'm an ex Call of Duty vet. You feel me?
Yeah. You was crazy. You played a lot. I remember you talking about your prestiges, your setups. You played it a lot, but I don't know if you also told me you had an obsession with your KD. So you definitely were one of those ones at some point.
Maybe because on my
try hard.
They used to cook me. They like, bro. They be like, man, why your KD? I think they said like my KD is like 0.7 or like 0.6 or something. It was like, bro, that mean you be dying 2 times before you get 1 kill or something. They was cooking me about it. I was like, wait, y'all can check that? So that's when on Modern Warfare 3, that's when I was like, I bought that good KD. And I was like over 2 on there. I was camping and doing whatever it take to have a good KD. Even if I had to go 37-0 one game, you know what I'm saying, on resistance. Right. But anywho, so I mean my history with Call of Duty, I used to play it. I fell off of it back on like Ghost. That's when I was really getting detached from it, and I just started playing it to socialize. But I stopped playing it for an extended period of time, dabbled in just a little bit. But for real, I had came back to play it with Warzone. So, like I told Deontay when Modern Warfare 3 came out and the other ones, I was like, I'm not playing them unless they got movement like Modern Warfare or like Warzone. Granted, the games do kind of have some movement like Warzone, but like Warzone was way fast paced. So when I adjusted to playing a regular Call of Duty, like the old school team deathmatch and the maps and stuff, I couldn't really adjust to them. They felt like it was much, much slower pace. So what I'm getting at is the omnidirection and the movement also so far in the new Black Ops 6. I mean, I love it. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I still got my gripes about Call of Duty. It's still a Call of Duty game, but the game feels real fluid. And that biggest issue that I had about the game feeling slow and people camp. I mean, you still got the same Call of Duty antics going on, but the Omni movement just lets you turn, shoot. You don't got to worry about prone block. You crouching, like it's fast. Like, and I like to run with SMGs and stuff like that. So I'm in people's faces, sliding past them, turning around, banging them when I'm, you know what I'm saying? They like, look at this guy, he's going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Running around and stuff like that when I'm in people's face, so I could really like okey doke, jug, finesse, all that type of stuff. So I really do appreciate that. It don't make me feel like I'm like um hopeless in a situation. I feel like every situation I get in, I got like my movement might be able to save me. And I ain't gonna say it happen all the time, maybe 50% of the time, maybe not even that. But even if I'm in a hopeless situation, it works 2 out of the 10 times, that's better than 0 out of 10. So that kind of gives me some empowerment. So overall, the Omni movement, I ain't the best with it when people be sniping and doing all the crazy stuff. I don't got the highest sensitivity. I'm gonna get that Omni movement I'm gonna have to get that junk like a 9 out of 10, bro. Like I really appreciate the Omni movement. Like I didn't think I was gonna appreciate it. I'm like, man, they just gassing this, woo, woo, woo. The idea of not having prone block, being in situations where you don't feel hopeless and you can really just jug in there, and the way your camera angle and stuff be like when you prone, like I'm like, I really like this. So I really like the Omni movement. Of course, it's still Call of Duty. So overall multiplayer, I mean, the little bit I played and stuff, I mean, I give it an 8 out of 10 though. The Omni movement, the best part for sure, for sure.
Okay, that's a pretty solid number, especially based around. I know the Omni movement is great, but how do you feel about the maps and like gunplay? Do you feel like it's all really clicking?
I think so. I used to be a stickler on kill to death time,
Yep.
or like kill time, whatever you want to call it. I kind of then adapted to however the game gonna play it. I think so I'm fine with all that. I feel like the gun's fine. The gunplay, I mean it's solid. It's not like Apex or Destiny or anything, but it's solid for what it is. The
Mm.
maps, I do appreciate that a good amount of the maps. Again, I haven't played the other Call of Duties for in a while. So, but these maps that I've been seeing, they've been a
Well, you
lot
played
smaller.
three, so you
So,
can still say you had to play the most recent.
man, I don't even remember playing 3, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I remember we was playing together, and I was literally talking to Sihon. I was like, I feel like I played a beta, but I don't remember what beta. It must have been Modern Warfare 3 because I don't think I was playing a beta this recently, and I was playing on one of the maps. So, like, what was it like?
Oh,
Meat Market or Meat Grinder
No, it was on
or
High
it was
Rise, and
yeah.
I wasn't
yeah,
that was Black Ops 6?
No, that wasn't Black
no,
Ops 6.
Modern Warfare
That
3
was
was
Modern
High
Warfare 3.
Rise and Terminal. Those was the beta maps.
What was that level? It was called like I thought it was a level like called Meat something, like Meat Market or
Oh,
Meat.
there is a meat. It might be a meat grinder on Modern Warfare 3. That one
There's on
is
3
a
too.
very, very small map. Yeah.
Okay, that we played a bait on that one, right?
We played the
Uh,
game on that one.
when it came out, we played it.
Yeah, we played it.
All right,
You
well,
just don't remember it. We was always sniping on lanes on high rise. We was always in that. I remember playing high rise. I remember playing terminal a
I
lot.
do remember
I
playing High
remember.
Rise now that you mentioned it,
Yeah.
and I do
Uh,
remember playing. Yeah, y'all right. I forgot about that. I mean, but for y'all that's listening, y'all clearly understand how much of an impact that game was. I don't even remember playing that mug, bro.
that
Like,
boy clearly didn't have zero impact.
yeah, I
Zero.
forgot. I'm like Meat Grinder. I'm like that wasn't Black Ops 6 bait. I don't think it was, or whatever the level was. But y'all right, High Rise was on there. But anywho, like I said, the Call of Duty to kill the time. I was talking about the maps. I appreciate how small the maps are because it makes the game feel like it's fast paced. Like I don't feel like things are just dragging. Obviously, you got some maps that are bigger, but I prefer the smaller maps if I'm playing this type of game mode. But the only thing I will say is that I've seen certain people talk about spawns, and I've witnessed some of these things with the spawns. I think me and Deontay was playing on one map, and I mean, it was an atrocity, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was they was playing apocalypto on us, bro. I'm just looking like, bro, we're cooked. Just get us out of here. There ain't nothing we can do. Like, and the way
Yeah.
people were playing the map, you can tell they was partied up and they knew how to spawn trap, especially on a game type like domination. So, it's easier to spawn trap on those objective game types than it is on, like TDM or like kill confirm.
Yep. So, I mean, um, for me, there was obviously I felt like immediately the Omni movement felt natural, which is weird because I didn't think it would feel like natural immediately, but it just felt natural to be able to have your momentum everywhere. And I think because I'm used to other games that allow that, that I'm just comfortable with it now. That is like easy and it makes sense. Uh, the other portion of it for me, and I kind of reviewed the campaign, is what I mostly spent most of my time in. I did end up getting to the last mission. I know it's the last mission simply because when I got back to my headquarters, they told me, better wrap up everything you can because once we start, this is going to be the. I'm like, yeah, I know. Give me that reminder so I can go out and do all my Easter eggs. So that's what I'm doing now. But for me, as of now, the Black Ops campaign is by far one of the best campaigns I've played in a long time that I can remember. Um, and definitely one of those ones that has some memorable moments, but really, really cool that they had different scenarios in each activity and there was different ways to tackle certain things. So it was just really cool to have that much variety and that much fleshed out in a Call of Duty game because you normally don't get that type of like puzzle solving and things like that in a Call of Duty game. So all that espionage, all that sneaking around, being a spy, all that stuff I thought was objectively cool, and they had it in that game. So if you haven't, I would highly recommend trying the campaign. It ties into the zombies mode, I believe, as well, because of what we're talking. What the a lot of the stuff is going on in there is cool too. So and that's not a spoiler. I think you should already know that. But if you like good campaigns, I think this is probably one of their better ones. Definitely one of those big blockbuster types, and I'm just enjoying it thoroughly. I think I've put like 16 hours in it or something like that. Might be maybe less, but I've definitely had more than enough of my share of the campaign, and it did not feel like it overstayed its welcome. So really, really cool. I thought that was cool. So I'm just giving that a 9 out of 10 just because of the level of detail, the level of Easter eggs, the level of hints and clues that you have to deal with, and just the overall feel of what you're doing on that, mission to mission basis. So I thought it was great. Overall, hopefully, I'm seeing the sentiment online that to be very similar with the campaign. And I'm also seeing that for the multiplayer. So I'm definitely interested in trying some zombies. I might just hop on that and try to get some zombie matches in. Definitely interested in playing the multiplayer. And because you got it on Game Pass, I might end up just paying 30 for the upgrade if I want to down the line if I ever think I need it. I don't think I need it. I don't really think I need the season pass, but I'm gonna give it a shot. If I really, really like it, I might because I did last time, and at least this time I don't have to pay the full 100. But overall, yeah, I am thoroughly enjoying Black Ops 6 campaign. Once I get more in time into the Omni movement, more time into them doing their trickery online and what the zombie mode feels like, I can get my full final impressions. But right now, I'm really enjoying it, and I think if I'm just grading off the campaign, it'll be a solid 9 out of 10 for me. Uh, but yeah, I know that Josh, you said you haven't touched it. You haven't even. I don't know if you downloaded it yet. Um, any thoughts or in regards to Black Ops 6 as of now?
Um, no. I guess I have more questions. Because like I liked Modern Warfare 3 last year, but I feel like I was the only one. And this year, both of y'all are in more into it, and I guess I'm just trying to hear what the difference is. Um, I guess the Omni movement is a big deal, and that one is something I'm interested in. But other than that, like, is it just the Black Ops aesthetic, or what is it that makes this one better than the one last year for you?
For
It's the
Jalen? Because
movement for me.
okay, for Jalen.
Like the speed of the game overall is just like the movement and like the maps. Like the few maps that I played, mainly the movement. Yeah, see how I was playing Warzone. I feel like I got a lot of that, and I'm just over here just like just I'm moving, bro. I'm like I'm constantly moving. I'm like, man, I feel like I'm sweet at this game. Like,
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think
so I
once
think
you
that's the
play
biggest
the
thing that
Omni
appeals to me.
movement, you'll probably feel you could tell the difference
Yeah,
immediately.
I can tell
Um,
it's faster, but I didn't have any problem with Modern Warfare 3 movement. So, but if it's just better, then that's fine. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't I fell off of Call of Duty, and I liked Call of Duty a little bit back when I was playing Warzone. I liked it, obviously the Warzone things in it, like the drop pack or care pack,
Loadout.
nah, whatever they call them. Yeah, the loadouts. A lot of different things going on with that, but with this one, they at least took the movement, and they don't feel like it's a slow paced game where I gotta like camp and just kind of run. So like it feel real quick, and I'm like I enjoy running and gunning. And I can effectively do that in this game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing's changed for me outside of a better campaign. So I don't think I'm fine with the Modern Warfare 3. Um, I think what you're doing in Black Ops 6 is a lot more interesting. Because it is kind of like that, spy, um, uncovering the truth type situations versus, Modern Warfare 3 was kind of just being betrayed, and it was kind of one dimensional, right? This one feels a lot different. So, campaign wise is why I'm more intrigued in it. I wouldn't say that I'm more interested than I was in Modern Warfare 3 than I am in this one, because Modern Warfare 3 had the better maps to me because of just the maps that we played before. But
Yeah, because they're all classic maps. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's not like this one gets the nod over it. It's just more so what I've played was 10 times better than what I played in Modern Warfare 3's campaign right now. So
Mhm.
that's all I got. Omni movement is great, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna stay for the long haul. It's just more so that
Yeah.
Omni movement is decent. So um outside of that, okay. Anything else on Black Ops before we move on?
Nope. I mean, I
Okay.
think it is doing well. I guess a lot of people playing it, and it's on Game Pass. So, another good year for Call of Duty.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be bad, honestly. I knew Black Ops is a very strong installment within the Call of Duty space anyway. I think they are selling a lot of $30 upgrades right now, just like Starfield did. I think they are boasting those numbers basically by saying this is the most played launched game period, because obviously there's more people can get entry with the cheaper pricing, and everybody wants to, get into that Black Ops of day one. So I think there is a ton of great press to be had from this, and hopefully by with this showcases a different avenue for Call of Duty moving forward. I'm not saying that they want to do this for every time, but I mean, I guess this helps their case in saying that it doesn't impact the Call of Duty brand as long as you're making a good game. If they're not making a good game, that might change it, the aspect of it. But as long as you're making a good game, people are going to be clamoring for it, regardless if they buy it outright or if they get it on Game Pass. That it still bodes well for the overall health of Call of Duty. So I think that story is being told well right now. I'm hoping that is true by the end of it, you know. Um, but let's move on. So, Concord, Sony closes Concord Studio permanently and shuts down the game. I was kind of expecting that. Honestly, I think when we talked about it last time, Josh, you stated that it might be better for them to just write it off. Because there is a difficulty in kind of getting people to. I don't know if you were saying it or we were just agreeing to it. I don't remember. But all I know is that this conversation around closing it came up, and the thoughts around saving them some money on that side versus trying to relaunch it as a free to play that people may not gravitate to anyway. Um, I felt like it was an uphill battle regardless because it felt so bad at the beginning that there was not much they can do. Now, this shutdown itself will put 210 people out of jobs, but I'm hoping that they have a way for these people to be absorbed in something else because it just seems like a huge waste. And you know, I think if Concord was under the Halo or under the Microsoft banner, I think it still came out. They did it with Bleeding Edge, they did it with Halo Infinite, and they did it with other games that had like less of a known brand to it. Um, I don't know why Sony decided that it's time to cut our losses. Understandably so, the player count was extremely low, but pivoting to something else could have saved, in my opinion, something. I don't know if people would have gravitated to it completely, but they had to rework, like I said, rework the characters and how they look, how they present, and that's just a whole lot of work. Nobody cares for the world, and it's hard to sell free to play when nobody cares about the world. So, let's react. What was your initial thoughts when y'all heard that news for Firewalk Studios is shutting down completely?
So I think what I was mentioning earlier is last time we talked about this is that I think that there are financial incentives to like just close a studio. Like I don't know what it is, if it's like a tax write-off or things like that, but it does impact their books at the end of the year. And that's why I thought that if they do shut it down, not that I thought that they should, but if they do shut it down, there might be a stronger incentive to do that, to just like wipe their hands clean of it. And that's what they did. And honestly, I think stepping away from the business aspect of it is like saving money. I think it's really stupid. I think
Yep.
so. One, yeah, they spent too much money on the game. They bought a studio, they hired a bunch of people, they made the game, and people didn't like it. And so now they erase all of that, and that's kind of makes the last 8 years they were working, I guess, on this game, uh, pointless. Because
Yep.
I've been looking it up, and those 200 people are not being transferred or relocated. They are laid off, and so they're gone from Sony. So that's a lot of talent. Because I mean, even if you didn't like the game, you can't say that the game didn't look good on like a technical level. So that is a lot of talented people that could have just gone to something else, smaller projects. Like I always say, like these AAA companies need to make smaller games. Like you don't need a 200-person studio to make a free to play game. Like just take 20 of them and have them make whatever Crash Bandicoot 6, like those are still talented people who could do good stuff at the studio. But Sony, I don't I don't really understand the direction that they're going in as a whole. Like they're really pushing Horizon and Spider-Man, and obviously their free to play games are not working. But yeah, I would just say overall my initial reaction was like it was overall like questionable decision to me, even though like it's a failure to just wipe it all clean. It's like uh unexpected from, I guess, the number one uh company in the industry.
Yep. Yeah. Um, I didn't. I did. I honestly, I thought it could go either way. I obviously was hoping for them to be able to make a comeback because you don't want to see that type of situation occur where someone tries a new thing with a big budget and it fails miserably. Like their new thing was to be in a card based kind of style mixed with FPS shooting, and to for all intents and purposes they hit the mark on what they conceptually wanted to create. It just wasn't play test well enough. It was not something that the masses was interested in, and then you had on top of that a very very bad showing, especially when people were thinking that this was going to be another big single player hit that Sony is known for. So out the gate it had a lot to deal with, and unfortunately it was the falling of their studio. But to me, I felt like when situations like this occur, you kind of can tell who's really for the innovation and the creation of new games, and then who's just really looking for that turnaround. And I think Sony here showcased a lot about what they really are about, and that's just money. When they kind of completed all of their multiplayer games to the point where they don't even know how to operate it, but they feel like they should be in that space because there is a lot of money there. Their Bungie was always a failure, in regards to not always a failure, was always failing, and I thought that Bungie, in hindsight, I'm glad that was something that I could get more perspective on. I did not expect Bungie to be fudging the numbers. I didn't expect I didn't expect them to be creating and building without necessarily having true vision. And I wasn't definitely expecting them, because they like both of these companies on a technical level have really great talent. It's just when it comes to running that talent that it falls apart. What do you really want to use that talent on? Do you really want to use it on microtransactions and trying to create gimmicky ways to get people to stay in the game, or you want them to full fledged push out in a different direction? I felt like Concord would have been one of those games that could have changed or shifted the way we think about large first person shooters multiplayer online, because technically it wasn't supposed to be a live service. You're supposed to pay for the game, you were supposed to get the game, and you were supposed to have updates, but you're supposed to pay for everything up front. That tells me, yeah, they might have updates, but live service is totally different. I feel like free live service and live service and then paid for a games are just in totally different ways of how they manage that. And I just felt like if this hit, this could have been a different defining moment for how Sony approaches game development. Now, I don't think that anyone is really going to take a chance like this anymore. I feel like this is a big statement for how we think of games and how we decide on what is going to catch our eye and what's not, and the risk factor of it all. It just feels like there was probably ways to mitigate risk throughout this entirety of Concord's development. There is a lot of ways people try to get people on board, beta test, and just like Steam is doing, Steam is nowhere near done with Deadlock, but they wanted that game out in the open for people to feel like, hey, do we have an audience that's looking for something like this? That makes more sense to me, versus what they did, where they created something on this vision that everybody was going to love, and it failed miserably. I feel like we have to get back to a format where we're actually speaking to the audience as we're developing these things, because there is no way for those live service games to be like Apex and drop one day and then have a boom, have an audience. There's no more time for that. You have to do the work to create and build an audience that's truly interested in the game you're presenting.
And they get feedback from people who, early previews. They get to see the feel the water to see how people are reacting to it. And also, yeah, it builds excitement. Because the game is not even the Marvel Rivals game is not even out yet, but they've been like showing that game off like for the whole year, and they'll have
Yeah,
a new character
Concord had like 2 months.
trailer. Yeah, and
Yeah,
so at least the conversation can continue to happen over the year. And in that 2 months, like they for Concord, like they showed it off, the impressions were lukewarm, but it's too late. The game is up for pre-order. We started our open beta, and the game's about to come out, and so it's like if even if they just give themselves a year, I think that would have been a much better situation. It's just showing the game over a year to show like,
hmm
okay, you like the characters' looks, all right, but here's our other skins that they have. Here's some alternative costumes or our season one battle pass, or it's not a battle pass, whatever. It's stuff you can unlock
yeah,
to combat those negative opinions. Like you can show what else you have, but instead the game is out and people are playing it and it's lukewarm and it's too late to like change their mind because they're already asking for refunds.
yeah. So I think that this was just a misstep in management. I don't think that this game itself would have been horrible if they had the time to really build and create. I think they gave them way too much upfront. Somebody at the studio at Sony gave them way too much upfront money on the concept and not really having the due
Did you
diligence.
see the well, I'll see if I can find an article, but the y'all see what they were saying with the total cost for it?
Um, I don't know if it's proven, but yeah, I think I seen like 600 or something million or something like that. I don't know if it's proven. I don't know where it came from. Um, but what I would say is that from what I was seeing, I don't think that is that much, honestly. But
Um
it could be.
so no, I don't think 600 billion, but the whole point is that it was a lot of money floating around.
Yeah.
According to your gamer, the initial development just for the game was 200 million, but that doesn't include other stuff as like Sony buying the studio because they originally were independent and Sony bought them, so that's another investment and other stuff that they had to invest in as well. So it's at least upwards of $400 million, in which
Mm.
I think that's like I mean nowadays like inflation and stuff like that, so it's not comparable to Destiny, but Destiny back when Destiny started, that was the same level of investment that they were getting when they started out. So they were hoping or expecting like a really big like you said platform.
Well, that's
But yeah,
different. Bungie had a history of making great games. Like Firewalks had should have approached this total. Even if you have that
yeah,
type of
there's
level of
money for
commitment.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, like Valve even. Like Valve has a history of making great shooters. You see what Deadlock had. They ain't spending no money on advertisement. They're literally putting that game out in a way that it's like getting back to the form factor of betas and like alphas and really fine tuning. Like I think that that is a key example for me at least on even if you had that reputation now, this market is so different that you have to be comfortable adapting. Like that is the key to me. Like I think Bungie's going to have an issue when Marathon comes out, another one of those Sony blunders because they don't even know if people want this game. Like Marathon, nobody they don't know if people want this game. It's hard to judge it based off of what people are saying because nobody does what they say. They only do what they want. And it's hard to get any feedback from the audience in regards to that. So it just is a tough time right now to be developing these big, large live service games because they can scream how what they want until they blue in the face, but what you're gonna actually pay for, and that's the problem. So
Mhm.
um, I think that with Concord in itself and the studio being shut down, I think this is a big blow for the gaming community in a lot of different ways. But hopefully, they can weather this storm and something comes out differently on the next go around. But honestly, I think this is one of those situations where you have a partner that may not know what's best for your company. So I think
Yeah,
this is
and
what occurred.
I guess we can move on, but I'll say I think it does it for me it negatively impacts Sony's like future like online or like live service prospects because like I know that they were talking about a Horizon Zero Dawn online game and stuff like that, and just this situation just makes me not want anything else like this from Sony for a while until they can actually like figure something else out instead of just taking something, make it live service, build it small from the ground up, and then let's see where we go from there. But that's not how they're probably gonna do it.
No, they have like yeah, it's just not the way they do things, and I think the biggest surefire hit was the tried and true, already tested Last of Us multiplayer, but they decided that that was not worth the investment because it probably wouldn't have generated as much money as they would have expected. So it's just one of those things where you can tell they're moving in a way that they're looking for the big fish, and it shows, but it's going to just bite them in the butt, to be honest. So I'm really looking forward to um that transition and seeing how they pivot from here because honestly, yeah, I'm not looking checking for nothing multiplayer from Sony right now at all. Um, but yeah, let's move on. Anything to add to that, Jalen, before we move on to the next topic?
Nah, nah, I ain't got nothing to add, man. That game, I don't even want to think about that game.
Again, Cook City, huh? Well,
Barbecue chicken.
BBQ chicken. All right, well, let's move on here to our next topic. So, I did want to cover off on some of the Indiana Jones hands-on, just to kind of give you guys a little bit more of a detail about this game and some of the actual stuff you'll be doing in it. It's a lot more, Deus Ex than I imagined, to be honest. There's more to tricking people to get around stuff, not having to get into combat all the time. It's not as straightforward as it is. You can do both. It does work in both in tangent of each other, so you can go in guns blazing. But there is a lot more to puzzle solving, which I guess I expected, but I didn't expect it on like that level because Uncharted has their set pieces, and I'm thinking of it from that standpoint of the set pieces. They have, going through, uh, play area after play area, and then you get to the next thing, and it's just bombastic fun. But whatever this must have changed is how they wanted to approach the storytelling. So there's a lot of more puzzles, a lot more moving slowly, a lot more um, intricate gameplay, I guess, to it than I was expecting, and that's what a lot of people are coming away with. It's not that it's too much off the norm, but it's trying to give you that full fledged sense of being Indiana Jones. So, some of the key impressions that I saw was from Ryan McCaffrey, and then I read the Xbox.com first hands-on impressions. So they basically gave them 2 hours, and you had like multiple different areas you were going to be at. One was the Marshall College, the Vatican, and then there was the pyramids of Giza. So these were some of the set pieces or set locations. But what's cool about it is that Marshall's College was kind of like corridor to corridor. You're solving a puzzle, and pyramids of Giza was where it kind of gave you this more open world type feel where you can go, you have multiple objectives and you can tackle them in whatever order you like. So, totally different than what I expected. I thought it was going to be a linear approach. Thought it was going to be more so, you had to kind of go this, do this, do this. But I do think that they're going to incorporate a lot of, like I said, that Deus Ex mindset and main framing. And I feel like I'm here for that. I'm here for both. Honestly, I think I would be more here for a just a really, really well done, solid from front to finish kind of Sony banger. I would call them. They usually have no real open world esque motion to them. They're very on the rails, but they're on the rails. The on the rails moments are so good you don't mind. Maybe that was what I was looking for in a first person experience, but I'm totally okay with that other portion of it, kind of giving that Tomb Raider vibe. Um, and where you have an open world space to explore and you can kind of tackle different objectives in different tombs essentially as you're going through the storyline. So, um, okay. Well, I kind of said my piece on the new. I think they said Troy Baker is doing a great job and all that good jazz, which is great. I said my piece on Indiana Jones. What are you guys' thoughts? Does it change anything for you all? Did you guys see any of the press releases on the hands-ons? But um, overall, I just want to kind of get your guys' thoughts on what I was just talking about in regards to the different formatting of the game.
Yeah, I haven't personally seen much about Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen much.
Okay. No worries, no worries.
Yeah, no, I'm personally not checking for this game, but I do think the smaller, more focused level design is more interesting for it. Because a lot of games just like do too much with like being fully open world or stuff like that. But I think that's a strong point, and plus with machine games is like past games like Wolfenstein, they kind of had like smaller levels, but like different routes you can take. But taking
Mm-hmm.
that same approach just in like a more like jungle or um like temple environment could be interesting as well. So you get that exploration, but it's not overly bloated.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely don't want another Star Wars outlaw situation. Like I like
Mhm.
Star Wars, but I felt like yeah, they could have just probably given me a linear story where I go point to point, and I probably would have had a much better time than having the additional things because what that did for me is distract, but also it loses its focus, especially if you're not super into the world. If you're not really like enthralled in it, it does. It's either you're gonna do it really well, like a cyberpunk, or you're gonna do it really poorly. And if you do it poorly, it really does take away from what you did good. And I did think that Star Wars Outlaws main missions were good. So it's a little bit different. And I think that, yes, as we consolidate the scope, but still give that freedom of choice, I think that's really cool. I'm not saying that I guess that the jury's still out on whether or not I would want it just to be completely linear versus like these little extra open area spaces. But definitely has me more intrigued because it does feel like a totally different depiction of what a um, that adventure will be like. So I'm still excited. Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing more about the game. Definitely was one of the highlights of people just saying that the graphics does look really good. And because I've seen a little information on Digital Foundry as well. And this, like I said, this game is coming out December 6th, early access, but December 9th for everybody else. So it's just one of those things where and I'm mad about that early access coming back because people are really trying to incentivize people to kind of pay her. Like this is a Game Pass. This is I feel like it's birthed from Game Pass simply because now you want to sell me a premium upgrade to be able to play a little bit earlier or things like that. That pretty much all these games are going to have that same situation occurring, kind of like Sparking Zero, and stuff like that too. So, but overall though. I think it graphically looks good. People are saying that the graphics are great. People are saying that it's well polished. People are saying that it feels like an adventure. It feels like you're you're actually uh shoot, what's his name? Why can't I remember his name? It's not Harrison Ford. What is Indiana? Jesus Christ, Indiana Jones. Like you feel like Indiana Jones, and I just feel like that is what's great about that first person view. Um, I'm just hoping that they do it really well. So overall, I'm excited with the first hands. It got me more excited, but I totally get that y'all ain't checking for this as well. Anything else before I move on from Indiana?
Nope.
Okay. Um, Monster Hunter Wilds beta. I'm hoping somebody else played it. I played it. Graphically, it does not look super impressive, but when I'm maxed out, it looks better. It's just unfortunately that it doesn't run that well on my system. It does run okay on my system. I will say that it runs pretty well. I can definitely stay above 60 the entire time, except for when I go into the towns. But it just feels as if it should be running better. Hopefully, this is just an older build, but kind of wanted to put that out there that yeah, this game does have its fair share of technical issues right now. But that aside, did anybody play the beta?
No, I did not play the beta.
Okay.
I've looked at the coverage of it. I was gonna download it, but seeing the performance, I didn't want to bother with any bad performance stuff just as my first impression of it, because
Yeah.
I feel like the game is still impressive and I'm still gonna play it, and I know what they do with RE Engine is always good, but the technical drawbacks of it are just something that we're gonna have to deal with. Like I think, of course, the game will run better. It's not gonna have weird glitches when it comes out. But I think 30 FPS for most players is what's going to be expected because it's a big open world game. They have a lot of complex AI systems going on, like with the monsters and how the monsters animate and this tiny monsters that can attack each other and stuff like that. So all of that is going to make it where the game mostly is CPU bound. And so when you lower your graphics and things like that, one, the beta is not really set up or optimized to respond correctly to it. But when the full game comes out, yeah, you can lower your graphics to get a more stable FPS. But I think it's time. It's showing that they're pushing for higher hardware for most people, and that's what is just going to end up to be like. I think personally.
Mhm.
But from your impressions, you played a little bit of Monster Hunter in the past. Was there anything that you liked about the beta or thought was done well?
Um, I know you kind of when I said it the first time, you kind of didn't feel it, but I still felt the fact that they jazzed up their presentation of the game,
Mhm.
and how they present their monsters, how they present the world, the cutscenes, that on rails feeling of like an adventure and having to chase down a monster, but then once you get there, you have the freedom to fight it how you like. Um, so for me, it just felt more focused. But at the same time, it's because I'm in the tutorial area more than likely, and they're trying to get me to get accustomed to fighting and all that stuff. But overall, I just felt like there was a little bit more to the presentation of it. Now, if that falls off a cliff after like 4 hours or something like that, then it's back to normal for me. But if they continue to keep that high and they have actual solid cutscenes and they actually trying to tell a story behind why this mysterious area has been locked away for so long and why people couldn't get to this civilization or whatever, and it's actually intriguing, then I would stick around and finish it. But honestly, if it's just, going around killing more monsters, I'm good off of it. So it really has to sell me on the other
On
part,
the
because it's
story and the
not,
world,
yeah,
or
it's not, yeah,
yeah,
like the that by itself is just not, it's never going to be enough for me. So
yeah. I think that's fine. No, and I want to comment on yours because I think in the past I was just like saying it's not important, and I think it is, especially for new players, because like a big problem with Monster Hunter is like getting people into this franchise that's been around for like 15 years, and like how to, one, teach you how to play the game, and two, how to keep people interested in it.
mhm,
And I think with World, what they did, they streamlined it. They took out a lot of the annoying mechanics. They added more story and cutscenes and more story tutorials so that you're learning while also getting the story. And I think that is still valuable. It's just for me, who's somebody who's been playing Monster Hunter for a long time, like I know what the goal for most players is, and it's kind of like Destiny, where it's like, okay, we get the new expansion and we get new cutscenes with the expansion, but also we get a whole bunch of story related stuff that you have to do before you can get to the real meat, which is the in game, the raid, the dungeons and stuff like that, or like a Diablo game where you're kind of, you want to get to the end, everybody's playing so we can rush to the end, but now we got all the story stuff in the way that's like literally preventing me from getting to what I want. So that's kind of what I was feeling with World. Was like, okay, I want to get through the story, don't really care about the cutscenes, the story's not really telling me anything interesting. So I will agree with what you said there, where it's like if Wilds has something worthwhile in the story that's worth seeing, then that makes that journey a whole lot better. Because otherwise, if
absolutely,
the story is not good, then we're in a situation where it's like, wish you didn't include the story because you're wasting my time. I just want to get to the end. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's like if the story is good, I'm happy. If it's not good, I'm annoyed. So it's up in the air for me to see if the story is actually good, because I personally haven't seen the Monster Hunter team ever tell a good story in any other games. But
mhm,
something might have changed. But I do agree that better presentation overall is better for new players because it creates a new experience that you can have an attachment to.
yeah, yeah. And I guess that's really a good way to kind of sum up that, and like the differences in viewpoints too. So I absolutely think that when I go to play this game, that if there is I understand that feeling, because it's like immediately they want you to get with your friends. They want your friends to kind of be the person that kind of continues that journey with you and make it enjoyable. But honestly, that is really tough for me, because it's like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't like your gameplay. Like, not to the point where I hate it, but it's just not like, I don't know. Maybe the end game is better, but every time I played one of those types of games, I just felt like it was slow. I felt like it wasn't that cool. Monster Hunter Rise did a lot to help with that, with the mount and being able to chase them down and being able to have a grappling device. I thought that was such a better approach to the monotony of chasing down a monster. Because really the fun of it was, killing the monster, getting good hits in, and it just, I know it got a lot of strategy to it. I just never felt like I needed to use it. And that's really where my problem lied. I was like, this seemed like I'm just smacking a fat dinosaur. When am I going to actually start to be required to do anything different? I mean, I understand it speeds it up, but there is nothing here that's stopping me from just smacking him till he runs away and smack him some more. So I really needed that to um, feel that void of what I'm missing, and maybe the story being so good, allows me to see more mechanics, get understand the world better, and provide a better approach to how I defeat monsters regardless. Like there is a good way to show a tutorial, and then there is the way they have it now. I don't feel like that way they have it now is good. So to me, revamping that might actually help really get to the understanding of why this game is cool, why is it in why is the combat meaningful, and what makes it special. And I do, on a conceptual level, from high up, see it. It's just when I'm in it, it doesn't feel it that way. So make me feel it, and that's what I'm looking for. And I think that would help me kind of keep going with the game. I think Monster Hunter Rise is a lot of cool stuff, though. I think they had a really good way of showing it, and I think that's why I gravitated towards that other game that allowed you to build stuff as you were playing it. I'm trying to remember the name of the game now, but it was one of those games that ran really poorly, but it was fun, and it was in that vein of Monster Hunter. No, it was one where it was on. I have the game now. I just can't remember it. Wild Hearts by EA.
Oh, okay.
That game had the like the box mechanics and like the being able to make them run into it. It had like this different flow of combat, and it was exciting for me to try to change the mimics to make stuff happen and like play the field versus like I said, Monster Hunter has always felt one dimensional, and I had to get better with my sword swings than anything, and I just didn't. I feel like that was enjoyable. So I just have to, like I said, see the growth and the difference in and why that is meaningful gameplay. And maybe I just need to go look up some cool gameplay of it, and maybe I can understand it better. But right now, for me, I want them to show me that because I don't have the time to invest in it anyway. So hopefully, as I play it, I see it, and I continue on. But overall impressions for me, the beta wise, I enjoyed the little parts that I enjoyed the characters they introduced. It wasn't that many yet. And I'm off to kind of fight another. I'm in pursuit of another monster that just did something to. I'm in pursuit. I forget what happened totally. I know that we were trying to get across the sand desert. This is a place that nobody usually goes. Trying to get this kid back to his home, and we got attacked. So as of now, I'm still invested in the story. I'm still invested in what they're trying to set up here. So overall, good things. Anything else on Monster Hunter before we move on? No.
No. Yeah. I hope they have another beta to show it off with better performance, and give it a try. Otherwise, I'll still get it when it comes out because I think that even I mean, this is way better than that Exo Primal game, but most of the time, Capcom is always putting up hits. So I think they can do it. It's just I'm a little hesitant, just because like I didn't like World that much. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, then let's move on to the next here. Nintendo Music. So, Nintendo being Nintendo, I conceptually I can understand it. So, Nintendo Music is basically an app you can download on your App Store or Google Play, and it basically streams soundtracks or Nintendo soundtracks on your phone. And you have to have a Switch Online membership. Fundamentally, I am super cool with that. I feel like they do have some cool scores that I like, some cool music that I enjoy, that I'm always in my head. And regardless of whether or not I know the title or not, I know that it's a song that was iconic in this part of a game or this part of a game or something of that nature. So I do think having the ability to play certain music and compose music would be cool. To to put it on a inconvenient additional app, not your Switch Online app, like even embedding it in that online app you force everybody to download for party chat. You make another app separate from that to create this Nintendo Music. So I just feel like they do a lot of things to inconvenience people. I'm not even sure if this is allowed to be utilized on the Switch itself. Does anybody know if that's the case?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, overall, what I'm trying to get at here is that Nintendo does Nintendo things pretty often, and that this is a pretty much a big. It's not a slap in the face. It just kind of feels like they don't really understand their audience, and maybe they do. Maybe they like being maybe this is cool. Like I for me, having the music available and having additional service that I'm given without having to pay for more, I think is cool. I think that they make sense. I just think that technically, that if I need to have two apps on my phone to work in conjunction with my Switch, does that really make sense? And I just think that that is kind of how they build stuff sometimes, where they take it and they do their own thing, and it's just a hindrance to everyone involved. Um, but conceptually, I like the idea. I just don't. I wish it was either on Spotify, or I wish that it was embedded in their Switch Online app. Like if they were going to do it on a stupid app that you make everybody download already. I just think that having an additional app for no reason on your phone is just kind of silly. Um, but to each his own. Anybody going to be checking out the Nintendo Music app? Does anybody here have Switch Online?
No, I don't think any of us have it, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't use it. Just, I mean, we'll see for how long. Because like, I would just rather listen to this stuff on the platform that I prefer to use. Right now, for Nintendo Music, that would just be YouTube. Just go to YouTube, boot up some Nintendo Music, and listen to it. But knowing Nintendo, they probably gonna take down all that music now that they got their app.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a business move. You got an extra bullet point for your Nintendo Switch Online, and it probably doesn't won't cost them anything extra to just have people downloading the app and listen to it. But it is really inconvenient and not the way that any other company does the music. Like I like listening to what Final Fantasy or Castlevania or even like Horizon Zero Dawn has good music, and I have that music on my phone because it's available on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on regular apps for music. So I'm not gonna subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online for. I'm not gonna subscribe to it to play online because I don't need it, and then two, I'm definitely not gonna do it just for your music.
Yeah.
So it is kind of pointless. It's just to try to boost numbers and get uh you know points for the investors. The only thing I would say is that I think if it was any other company like Ubisoft, they'll do that for like a year, then they'll close down the app and then they'll put their stuff on Spotify. But this is Nintendo, so they're gonna leave it up for a year. They're gonna shut down the app and then not put the music anywhere else because they would rather just you not have it than put it on a service that they don't own.
Yep. Yeah, I think that that is kind of their go-to. Um, but like I said, I think that the idea of it is cool. I think that they just have implemented it poorly, and regardless of how, if they wanted to generate some revenue from it, putting it on Spotify would be their, or Apple Music would probably be their best bet versus letting YouTubers run wild and just earn all the revenue, and then trying to doing this proprietary application just causes it to go back to that whole thing of why do we support you again? I don't know. At this point, I really don't. So, yeah, overall, I see this as a stupid idea. But what about you, Jalen? Anything to add to here? I ain't really got much else on our Nintendo fam. Because when we in the club, we're all fam.
Nah, I mean, I feel like most Nintendo things, we got Josh giving a little bit of context, a little bit of understanding. Me and you just like, nah, man, that's stupid. Like,
Yeah, it
Mm.
so
is
with
stupid.
this, we appreciate the context and stuff. I mean, I don't feel like it's that difficult. Like, just you don't have to go through and do this app. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I ain't got much to say about it, bro. I'm about to just start ranting about it. Yeah, I ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Man, you ain't trying to listen to no Mario 64 music.
Yeah, I gotta go download my. Man, you heard about the new Nintendo app, man? Listen to music on there, bro. Mario 64. Hey, what? I'm good, bro.
Yeah, man. I just feel like they missed the mark a lot, so it's whatever. When do you think they'll give us the Switch too? I could have sworn it was gonna come out
When
this
you,
year, or at least gonna be announced
man,
this
you
year.
get that Nintendo Music app, bro. That's gonna make the Switch come on faster.
So I mean, it's a lot of rumors and stuff like that, but the fiscal year for Japan ends in March, so they could still make it this year if they want to release it in March. Otherwise, I think they're just trying to ride those sales as long as they can, and then as soon as the Switch starts to drop off on sales, they're gonna drop the new one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll be around. But that's the right. The next time we'll talk about Nintendo. I ain't got nothing good to say about them. Um, I don't know if there's no new games coming out that I'm interested in. Mario Bros. And Luigi isn't doing so hot, at least review wise, but I don't know if it's still a good game or not. But okay. Cool, cool, cool. Did you want to mention anything about this Destiny Rising, Josh? Because I have no notes.
Yeah, so I haven't followed it a whole lot, but I was seeing some stuff because I think the beta just started this week. But Destiny Rising is a free-to-play mobile game made by a Chinese or like a made by a non-Bungie studio.
Okay.
Um, I said Chinese, but I want to be fair. I don't actually know where it comes from, but it looks like a Asian inspired game.
Mm,
But the stuff that I saw of it is that graphically it's a mobile game, of course, but it looks like Destiny. Like it looks like the armor and the levels and stuff like that you would expect from Destiny. The characters have like a huge like supermodel glow up. So instead of looking like Destiny characters, they look like Stellar Blade people.
are you serious?
uh, their faces, not their bodies,
Oh,
their faces.
okay.
Um, but the game has a bunch of actual Destiny features. Like it will have Sparrow Racing as its own mode. And that was the thing that had my attention because like even Destiny
Doesn't
doesn't
have
keep
it.
it doesn't keep like some seasonal content as like dedicated modes. Um, so from what I've seen of it, of like the gameplay, like it's kind of like well, the beta didn't have like good FPS performance, but at least the game looked like a mobile Destiny experience. So I might check it out just to see like if it does scratch that. I'm gonna play strikes with my friends type feeling that we got from Destiny. I don't think it's gonna have PvP. I have to double check. Um, but I don't know. Y'all, you still play Destiny, but Jalen been out of Destiny for a while. Do y'all miss the regular quest in Destiny, like playing strikes, playing the Nightfall, or is it just the PvP that you miss?
PvP. PvE sometimes, but PvP is
PvP.
probably the most. Um, um, PvP is probably the biggest draw for me always. It always will
Mhm.
be, but the PvE had its moments. Raids were really great, dungeons were really great. But it's in like doses. I love going through new experiences like that, but honestly, I don't have the time to deal with three other people, let alone if y'all two even want to play. So it's just not interesting to me anymore. It was at some point, but today in today's time, it just doesn't make sense for me to be coordinating with anybody.
Hmm.
Anything that fundamentally makes me have to use my brain, unless it's like some weird Borderlands something or whatever, where for people playing and it's just kill something. So honestly,
Mm,
it's different now,
baby.
but PvP for sure, for sure.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the PvP was its strongest point. But Destiny was fun enough that we played it so much. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm interested on that point, and it's a third person shooter instead of a first person shooter since it's a
Oh.
mobile game.
Mhm.
So I think it does give that aspect where Destiny never fully gave us a third person experience. Like obviously when you use your super you can see that, or they give us swords. But
Mhm.
being able to fully play Destiny in third person might be fun. So I would say I can see the appeal, but obviously it's a mobile game and it's a knockoff of like the uh main series. So I don't expect y'all to actually play it, but I might give it a try to see if it's fun or not.
Okay. Um. What? Anything to add there, Jalen, about Destiny Rising, the mobile game? I ain't played a mobile
Yeah,
game in forever.
I'm trying
Might
to
as
tell
well
you, I be
download it,
thinking
Jalen.
about
I know you
phone
got enough
battery.
space. You got
Yeah,
a
I'm
new
thinking about
iPhone.
my
You got
phone
enough
battery.
battery.
Yeah, he
I'll
got
be
enough.
Man,
playing
my
games
battery.
for 8 hours and still have a 50%
Ain't
battery.
ain't ain't you two
Bro,
iPhone
I got it,
man? Yeah, he got two of
bro.
them. He got two of
I
them.
literally just ran out of space on my other phone, and then this phone
Look
right
at you.
here, I, my videos and stuff. I gotta
Oh
take some
yeah,
off, but
videos.
I didn't clear some. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that one got all the videos and stuff. And then when I go to this phone, I'm gonna make this real quick. It's talking about my battery health on this my iPhone 15 at 87% after about a year. I'm cooked.
Dang.
Yeah. No, my phone. I actually be playing games at work on my phone, and my battery be good. So, but
Yeah,
I ain't
mine
got a
gave
whole
up,
bunch of
bro.
videos. So yeah, if you got 4K videos or even just like long videos, yeah, that'll eat up your space quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I ain't playing
Well,
it.
I mean, good thing that um
I Yeah, I guess so. I don't know anything about the studio. I don't know if it's probably be full of microtransactions. I'm interested in Destiny doing something else in that universe allow people to still enjoy it, but you don't got to play Destiny 2. So if they want to do different like spin-offs, I think we're we kind of need that to make people get excited about Destiny.
yeah, they should do the I mean, it's they probably need to kill off Destiny 2 in itself and start to create its own games anyway. Like they should definitely already had uh a Crucible mode so that because they don't care about PvP anyway. Like why do they still have it in their PvE game? They don't care about it. And that way but I think they wanted to keep everything in this shared experience that is cool and it gives people value. But honestly, I feel like they would have much more of a um I mean, even if they want the game to stay in Destiny's 2's ecosystem, but have a different launcher or a different like branch, that's fine too. I feel like there has to be some way to keep people invested in your game and still be able to transition that PvP stuff to the main PvE game and vice versa and not have to necessarily deal with the PvE stuff at all. Like they can do
Mhm.
something like that to make it creative, to make it like a different login, different guardian, starting from scratch, getting into a mode and showcasing what they truly can do in a arena based game, arena based shooter like they used to. So I just feel like
I
they
mean,
have that. in their
They got a
bag.
bunch of unused assets from Concord that
Yeah,
do something to it.
right. And they
A
can
bunch of maps that
definitely,
nobody ever see.
exactly. And they can keep that experience where you're like, okay, you now have your Crucible team and they can give it back to your Guardians. And it's just different. I just feel like there's plenty of ways to go about it. And I think that they are smart enough to come up with something really cool, but they just don't. And I'm over tying myself to that game in itself because the PvP itself, it feels lackluster and they need to figure out a way to make it more enjoyable again. So overall for me, like they could never go back and say for this year, for this time period, we're gonna change all the mechanics and everything back to OG Destiny. Like they should have the ability to do that. Like and have people get excited about their game again and have it just be the Crucible forefront. And that would get people back in their game. Like you can just capitalize on nostalgia. Um, it's just that they just haven't come up with an idea that was smart in almost 10 years, in my opinion. Like nothing. Dungeons, maybe, but at the same time, that's just a small team raid. So I don't really see them coming up with any grand ideas that will help their game be long standing like Fortnite. It just doesn't seem that way. So if you're going to be a platform and you want to build out yourself as a platform, make yourself be able to be nimble, flexible, and capable of doing that. I know Apex just launched their OG map or OG characters and how they all worked at the beginning of the at the beginning with Lifeline getting her shield back and all that stuff. So they can do it and they can do it. You should be able to do it too. So that's the problem with how they have it set up now. It's just functionally not correct. So until they do that, yeah, I'm just not touching that game. But yeah, okay. That's pretty much all I had on Rising. And let's move on here. So, Dragon Age. This is where I talk a little bit for a while. But we also want to talk through some of the controversy. Unfortunately, everything has controversy in it. But overall, for me, I like the demo that we watched when they went through the gameplay initially. I like the feel of the game. I like how it's playing. Overall, I like what I'm seeing and I like in what I'm playing. But let's talk about not the game. Let's not talk about what actually makes the game beneficial and fun and enjoyable. Let's talk about snippets. Let's talk about choices. And let's talk about social justice warriors. I don't know. I don't even know what social justice warriors. I would call them. Um, I don't know. Internet gangbangers. I don't know what they call. I don't know what they call it. Twitter. They're just people that think that their opinion is significant and is significant enough to get other people to have that same sentiment, and then it becomes this everlasting ball of nothing. So for me, Dragon Age itself took hit a lot of right tunes. It became action packed. It became linear in focus. It became to me they graphically increased the graphics, and I kind of like the aesthetic of it and how it looks. Not gonna lie, I think a lot of the graphical Frostbite stuff has come a long way with Avatar, Pandora, and all those games. I feel like they have graphically went on have been going and increasing their graphical fidelity over time, and I think that this is no different. I think I do like the way the world looks. I've played about 4 hours or four like 3 to 4 hours. And what can I say? I like it. I don't think that is a bad game. I haven't found anything that I'm like, oh, I don't like this yet, or this is making me annoyed. I feel like the characters are intriguing. I feel like they are setting it up pretty well. The first main, mission in kind of going through and fighting a big boss and why can't I remember the bald head dude's name? The one, the big villain. Oh, dang, I can't remember his name. Um, it's funny. The one of the knocks on one of
It's
the
the ball guy, right?
yeah, it's the bald head guy. It's the one that was from the old game.
Is Silas? Something like that?
Yes, I
Mhm.
believe his name is Silas. Um, but basically the person that you have to stop from going into the veil and opening up the veil. Um, but yeah, I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. I like my character creator, that the character creation. I like how my character looks, how he feels, how he talks. I don't like the fact that they tell me to pick something and then he says something totally different than what I'd have picked. But I guess it's like in lieu of type situation. Like I say, no, you stupid, and it says something like, why do you want it? Why do we need to do this? Or I don't even why you pushing it. Like that's not what I asked you to say. But I don't like that. But that's the only thing I've been annoyed with. But outside of that, I really don't have any problems with how it's been written right now. Like I said, I'm not that far in. I like the presentation of the game. I like the mechanics of the game. I feel like it does get more in depth because the reviews showed me that it gets more in depth on like the combos and all that good jazz. Get me a good combo system. I'm happy. I don't really need much else. But on top of that, it has a great character fidelity, great world building. It has a pretty decent at least setup for the story, and it got some nice characters. I really don't see the problem with the game. Now, when I go online, I can see where people are picking out things that may be an irritant down the line. Some things being uh the repetitiveness and trying in the game not feeling as if it's testing your might. I don't know if raising the difficulty will solve that. I know I had to raise the difficulty on a few other games like Callisto Protocol for it to feel impactful. So that may be another one of those things where I just raise the difficulty. If I feel like I'm not engaging with all the mechanics and I don't need to do that, I'm raising the difficulty to see if it becomes a more better experience. I know a lot of people were saying that the enemies can be sometimes be sponges on damage sponges, but overall, it's what you make out of the game, and I feel like a lot of people are getting upset and mad about choices decided by the developer versus the actual game in its entirety. Most of these people haven't played the game, they don't know what the game is like, so there's such a divide online. And I feel like the journalists are doing it great with their divide. They're pointing out why they're mad at something and why it doesn't make sense. And then there are people online just attaching themselves to that to justify their reasoning, which is more so based around these uh, uh, false political views because they believe gender is a political thing. They believe that diversity and inclusion is a political thing. They believe that these certain things that they're ticking off on these boxes are political and their agendas and they don't like it in their games. When in reality, it's just a makeup of what our reality is, which is diverse, which is not just male and female anymore. And there's a lot of things that we have to become accustomed to seeing in our games that people just hate to see. Um, and it's just like one of those things. It just feels like it's not actually talking about the game being good or bad. It's tying themselves to an agenda that they feel is being pushed and claiming the rest of the game is garbage. That's what I feel like is happening. There are some stark differences on like people reviewing it. Like I said, I watch Skill Up and I watch More to Small Gaming, the one that does reviews at 100%. He called it his game of the year, best game he ever played. Skill Up said, "Don't avoid this hot garbage. It's bad," and he pointed out his reasons of why, pretty well. Honestly, I felt like he went in with the expectations of a different type of Dragon Age, but I also kind of read on his background and history of Dragon Age games, and he did not like the previous ones either. So I don't think he's as invested as maybe this more to small gaming guy that has a history with all of the games, really loves all of them and the mechanics and the changes to them. So it's kind of like taking their opinions and making my own justification. And that's why I went ahead with not purchase, but rent for a month or buy the EA Play Pro um, subscription and just play it and see how I feel after 10, 20 hours. And if I feel like I'm good, I'll wait for it to go on sale, buy it, and beat the game fully, or just continue to play it through the subscription. So it did it changed my approach to the game, but it still, I mean, what I like about the subscriptions, it still gave me an opportunity to try it for myself without committing completely, you know? So nobody does demos that well or that often anymore, except for the people that know that they are actually worthwhile. People still haven't caught up yet to realize that there's just too much saturation to the point where we don't want to gamble on your game anymore. We want to make sure we like it before we buy. So as people continue to, you know, get up to speed on that, the subscriptions is cool to have to be able to try something for a little bit. Yeah, it's a fee, but at least you don't have to pay the full upfront for trying. And maybe you play it online, that's still revenue coming into the business. That's still your opportunity to try it. So however you want to put it, however you want to spend it, you're still spending money on the game, but it is depending on what you want, you can get into it in different entry levels. But overall, for me, Dragon Age Veilgaurd seems like a real good, really good experience so far. And I'm not saying it's blowing me away, but it's definitely not deterring me. None of the characters feel annoying yet. None of the people that I'm meeting is. It feels like I'm going through the motions and I'm having a good time with it. So I'm gonna stop there, stop speaking. Any thoughts on Dragon Age Veilgaurd from either of you? Have you seen any of the nonsense? Talk to me.
Yeah, I think that with a lot of this discourse, well, of course, like with Twitter being the way that it is, there is incentive or monetary incentive for people to just cause controversy. So they're gonna make their voices loud as possible. But also, like you said, there are a lot of people who are just want to play identity politics and position themselves in a way where it's like they're trying to erase men, they're trying to erase white men, they're trying to erase straight people and stuff like that. And realistically, I don't think there is any sort of big agenda like that going on in video games. And even if there is, it's not like you have to engage in that video game if you don't like it. Like if you don't like that game, just don't buy it. But
Mm-hmm.
with Dragon Age and every other game that comes out, they're gonna make a big deal out of it and make up a lot of stuff that some of it is true, but a lot of it is not true, just to start hate campaigns. But what I can say about Dragon Age that's unique is that it's still selling well. It's still
Mm-hmm.
doing well. People are playing it. People are enjoying it. So regardless of what the online discourse is giving you, like the online discourse is very loud, so it will make you think that this game is going to do terribly. But it's very loud, but the game is doing well. So those two things are not in direct correlation with each other, at least. So hopefully in the future we can get away from like this loud discourse when games come out and just enjoy the games or not enjoy the game if it's good or bad. But yeah, I think it's just crazy with how loud stuff has become. And like you were mentioning earlier, it's kind of hard nowadays to know where all this discourse is coming from, because some of it is against a game is too not progressive enough, or it's against gay people or stuff like that. And then on the other side, it's too pro gay and stuff like that. So there are just so many people online who are yelling that kind of just ruins the conversation around video games. So that's partly why I like to do the podcast with y'all, to talk with y'all about it, but also try to have conversations about games, because I've always liked games, like watching trailers or playing games or just discussing them with friends. But online, like YouTube and Twitter and stuff like that, it's kind of terrible for that nowadays. So,
100%.
yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like it's just a side effect with like since Elon bought Twitter and just people are just yelling and spouting anything to get ad revenue.
Yeah, it's
But
the
even
power of
still, it's a,
monetization, man.
yeah, there are a lot of I don't know what they call them. Maybe it's grifters or just whatever. But people online just want to stir controversy and have no moral values about doing it for money. So
Yep. So yeah, I mean, anything to add to the Dragon Age Veilgaurd? Jalen, I know that Inquisition put you off this campaign for a very long time, but anything to add?
Nah, I ain't got nothing.
Okay. Okay. Well, outside of that, there was not much else that I wanted to speak on. Is there anything that I'm missing that you guys wanted to talk about?
no, I'm struggling to think of anything right offhand. I think that was all the stuff we have put on our list for this week.
Mhm.
So yeah, cool. I think we had a good podcast in.
For sure, for sure. Per usual, per usual. We're gonna finally hopefully play some Black Ops at some point together and yeah, come
Do
back
we
with
have to
some
get Jalen to play domination so we can no play ground war so he can lose his KD.
I don't think he care about that right now. I think that's over with. That's over with and done so, but he was definitely well, yeah, he had pretty decent KD when we played the last time. He be working on there. So, but we like I said, we'll try to get some time set aside. Got to schedule it now, like some adults, like we in like freaking at work or something. Put it on put on a calendar. But overall, good topics. Appreciate you guys sliding through. If you got to this point, you're the real OG. I want to thank you guys for listening as always. We'll be back next week with more topics, more things to discuss. So as always, I want to thank you, and we will see you all on the next one. Peace.